Hi guys, welcome to your last third grade online guided practice. Today we're going to be going over 1411. So today you're not going to need grid paper, which is nice, but you are going to need a pencil and some paper. Today is a problem solving lesson, so the entire lesson is going to be using everything that we know. Your learning target today is I can choose an appropriate unit and tool to measure the area of objects. So when I say the word appropriate, that means I'm going to choose the right one, the one that makes sense. Units, don't forget, are things like feet, inches, centimeters, kilometers, miles. It's how we measure different objects so that everybody has the same measurement. And the tool is what you use. Now, I still went to school and I still don't have a ruler. So today I have my tape measure again. So before we get started, I wanted to remind you of a couple different units. So first of all, we have my inch ruler. So you'll see that at every big hash mark, it is 1 inch. Another standard unit of measure is 1 foot. So a foot is 12 inches. For instance, if I were to measure myself when I go to the doctor, I am 5 feet 4 inches. So I am 5 of these, and then I am 4 inches also. Now, a yard, I'm going to have to back up a little bit. A yard is 3 feet. So I'm not going to measure my textbook with a yardstick, which I wish I would have brought home, because look how big that is. Look how far back I had to go. A meter is, remember now, the meter stick is actually 39 inches. Sorry, there it is. A meter stick is actually a little bit longer than a yardstick, so it goes just from 36 inches to 39. So keep that in mind as we're trying to figure out what unit we would use to measure. Now, because I don't have a ruler, I don't have centimeters. But remember, centimeters are even smaller than an inch. I forgot to finish my sentence. All right, so today we're going to be on page 352. If at any time you need to pause me, please feel free to do so. And here we go, selecting the appropriate measurement units and tools. Now remember, you have to have standard units of measure because if I said to you, I am going to use 3 of my feet. Well, my feet are not the same as 12 inches. Think about my feet versus your feet. If you were to measure your feet versus your grown-ups at home, your feet are going to be very different. So if I said to you, I need a piece of wood for building my house that is 3 feet long, and you come back with one that's your 3 feet versus the 3 feet that I actually need, it's not going to fit. So that's why we have standard units, so that when people are measuring around the world, everybody uses the same measurement. All right, here we go. We're going to come right on down to number 1. We're going to name the measurement unit you would use to measure the area of each item. So for number 1, let's see here. If I am going to measure a state of Florida, I am not going to use inches. That's ridiculous. It's way too small. I'm also not going to use feet or yards. In this case, does anybody know what we're going to use? That's right. You've probably heard grown-ups say we've gone a mile. Remember, the Narrows Bridge is about a mile, and so it's 5,280 feet. So in order to measure states, they are done in square miles. Not anything smaller because that's way too big. Number 2, what would I measure an envelope with? Does anybody have an idea? Perfect. We would do it in square inches. Or you could do square, there's actually 2 for this one, centimeters. Because sometimes envelopes can be very, very small. So it's okay if you wanted to say inches or centimeters. Now remember, in America, we tend to use inches and feet, where in other countries they use more of the metric system, which is centimeters, meters, kilometers. Okay, all right. Here we go again with number 3. Look how easy peasy today's lesson is compared to what we've been learning. This one here wants us not to pick the unit, but to pick the tool that we would use. What would you guys use to measure the classroom floor? Good job to whoever said a yardstick. You could do it with a ruler, but if you think about it, that's still pretty small, so it would be nicer to have a yardstick. All right, number 4. What would we use to measure the cover of a textbook? Now, I don't have a textbook with me, but I am reading Hidden Figures right now. And so, what would I measure this book with? Am I going to use a oh, sorry, that was probably kind of loud. A yardstick? No, that would be way too big because 3 feet. What could I use to measure my book with? That's right, I'd probably go with a ruler. Good job. All right, now we get to come up with examples of things that we would measure. I always kind of like to do this. Sorry, we're not together for this one. Number 5. Give an example of an area you would measure in square feet. What could we measure in square feet? I know, I have an idea. I'm going to measure my shower. You could measure your bedroom, you could measure a playroom, you could measure the kitchen, you could measure the kitchen table. Lots of things. But remember, a foot is only 12 inches. Okay, give an example of something you would measure in square meters. Now I'm going to make my ruler nice and big. Remember, it's 39 inches, not 36. So I'm way back here. What could we measure in square meters? I know. I'm going to measure the lower field at school. Because that's pretty big. So you're going to want to go with something pretty big for your square meters. All right, and number 7, you could even pick like your deck, you could pick a basketball court, you could pick a baseball field, something that's kind of bigger, a parking lot even. All right, number 7, give an example of a length that you would measure in inches or feet. What would you measure in inches or feet? I know. I'm going to write down the height of a person. Now notice this one did not ask you to give an area. It asked you just to measure the length of something. So like you could say your desk, you could say your computer, inches or feet. So inches are kind of small. You could do a picture frame. You could do yourself. You could do your sibling or your dog. But it's going to be something that is not super duper big because it's just inches and feet. So boys and girls, that's today's lesson. What do you guys think? This one is a little easier than what we've been working on. Now, please remember, it is important that you know your standard units of measurement because like I said, if I ask you to bring me a piece of lumber for building a house and you bring it the wrong size and you have to redo it and then your boss is going to be very upset with you for having the wrong size piece of lumber. All right, boys and girls, I would love to see you moving on to your independent practice. There are not very many questions today, and they're the same where you're going to be trying to figure out the units of measurement and the tools that you would use. Boys and girls, you do have a test coming up, so I sure hope that you are participating. Please remember to do your assignments in order. Let me know if you need any help. I am more than happy to call you or Zoom with you. And boys and girls, have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.